Good morning. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Can anybody hear me out there? I'm talking on my own. Maybe none of you can hear me. Perfect. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Do you guys want to let me know where you guys are from? Your cities, your states, your provinces? We're waiting for some other presenters this morning. Hello. Sorry, I'll just turn a little bit. Kentucky, Ottawa. Hi, Katie. Also from Ottawa. Ontario. Where in Ontario? Ontario's a big place. Kawartha Lakes. Hi, Jen. Just down the road from me. Texas. Hi, Renee. Hello, Winnipeg. Norfolk County. LA. Pennsylvania. Oh my goodness, we've got a huge, huge group here. Ingersoll. Where is Ingersoll? London, Ontario. Okay. Okay, so we have a Jennifer from Ontario who has a very similar name to a Jennifer I know near me in Okotoks. So I thought you were Jennifer from Okotoks. You must have a twin out here in Alberta. Edmundston. This is good practice for my Canadian geography from social studies, 7th grade, right? Edmundston, not Edmonton. New Brunswick. No flooding yet in New Brunswick, I hope. Hi, Ben. Now you know what's going to be coming for you. So I thought I would come on a bit early because I wasn't doing anything. I figured a lot of you probably weren't doing anything, just kind of hanging out. It's 10:45 here in, hi, Katie.
Oh yeah, upstairs. I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play Adopt Me. Oh yeah, Flicker. I told my dad, Flicker and Adopt Me for me. Oh no, what happened?
There we go. We're good. You look so pretty.
Oh, we can only get better from here, right?
That's correct.
Guys, in the top box, can you hear me? I'm Katie, and then Kim is both with the glasses. Kim, oh, hello, Dublin. Dublin Aquatics is here. Kim, can you mute you for a little bit? We break down we don't have too much. Yeah, perfect. Okay, can you guys hear me? Katie in the red shirt. Okay. Katie Cleasby, I'm going to try and add you as a presenter. Hopefully it doesn't crash. Fingers crossed. Thanks, everyone. You guys, this is the first time I've ever done a webinar, so fingers crossed we survive the hour. Hello. Perfect. So we've got Katie number 1. We can hear Katie number 2. Hopefully everybody hear Katie number 2 in the pink.
Hi, can you hear me?
Perfect.
Awesome.
Perfect. So Katie, do you want to mute briefly and we'll just hang out until people finish joining? Awesome. So we practiced this yesterday, but that doesn't mean in the middle of a pandemic. Sorry, I need to look at the dot. I'm looking at my presenters. So we practiced this yesterday and hopefully things go well. But as I was saying, I've never actually done a webinar before. I'm kind of, I guess, a go big or go home kind of person. So instead of putting on a webinar for 20 people, we have 167 people coming. So fingers crossed. This software is the one that I found last week. So hopefully it works. Sorry, can you hear me? You can't hear me? Okay, Ben can hear me. Christy can hear me. Okay, so it should be just a volume issue if you can't hear me. We're going to keep it single one at a time speakers just to keep it kind of, the frequency of the broadcast. Mike, you're bringing in every YMCA director from the United States, I'm assuming. So to troubleshoot, if you cannot see me or you cannot see the speakers, perhaps look at your attendee interface. So we're going to have it set up that the speakers, like the panelists, you'll be able to see us. But then when we go to discussion, sorry, I got to keep looking at the dot. When we go to discussion, we're not going to put anybody else their face up. We'll just do the audio stream and try and keep the bandwidth down a little bit. It is pretty incredible that in 2020, right, we can grab 170 people from around North America for an online meeting, right? So like I said, fingers crossed it works. If it doesn't work, I mean, it's better than nothing, right? I don't know that we could do a conference call this way. So new group. Oh, that's awesome. So Mike, this is all the YMCA directors, you're networking to put together training resources. Is that to maximize staff while you guys are closed, or try and make the most of the situation? Perfect. Okay, so those of you who've just logged in, who've joined us since I crashed the meeting, if you can tell us your city, your province, your state, where you're from, we'd love to see where you're from. We've got quite a smattering already from Ontario, Manitoba, Alberta. I saw California, Ohio, Virginia, Texas, Georgia, Saskatoon. I just was in Saskatoon in September. We want to hear where you're from. Arizona. Hi, Tyler. Cuba, oh my goodness, Cuba's here, Ottawa's here. We'd love to see where you're from. Toronto, hi Gretna. Some of these names I recognize, not everyone. Some of you I know from Instagram, some of you I know from Facebook, some of you I know from Lifeguard Authority. So welcome. Those of you who don't know each other, hopefully can make the most of this. Nova Scotia, Florida, Norfolk County, Virginia, BC, Sylvan Lake. I love Sylvan Lake. Beautiful new pool there in Sylvan Lake. Also, the lake is beautiful. What else? So we're going to start shortly after 11. So we've got the chat. We've got, we're going to do some panel discussion. And so hopefully you guys find this valuable. We really wanted to just bring people together during this time of stress and challenge for the industry. I know in Alberta it's been very difficult. So I'm based near Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and we had a lot of layoffs last week. We've already had state of emergency for the province for over a week. So non-essential services are closed, restaurants, that sort of thing. A lot of layoffs in the pool industry. So if you're new, you're just logging in. If you can let us know where you are from. Jody, I see you from Washington State. Hi. Anybody else, let us know where you're from so we can have a sense of who's here. Maine. We've got everyone here. Memphis. You're in North Carolina. That's quite a big move. Hi, Kim. Gonna let you guys talk too. Aurora, so Windsor and Aurora. Actually, my grandparents had a house in Aurora. I'm from Ontario originally. They moved up to Aurora after the 1929 stock market crash. They left Toronto and moved to Aurora. So Kansas, big state, lots of barbecue. Tim, I see Tim, you're here. Tim's typing. Tim is going to be one of our presenters in a couple weeks. Tim from the Aquatic Council. Tim from Rochester, New York. I heard on the news this morning, New York's been hit pretty hard, so keeping you safe where you are. It's a little bit of an interesting experience talking with the dynamic of a group, so I'm looking forward to passing it over to Kim and Katie for a little bit when we get there. So we've got lots of people here. We've got a huge mix. Allentown, Pennsylvania. Okay, so that's where Cedar Crest is. I saw some Cedar Crest registrations. Pennsylvania. So I would say we've got a lot of the states in the union represented. And I think we have, I mean, Kim, if we say you're from Quebec, we've probably got every province covered. I think, I haven't seen PEI, but PEI is small. So we're trying to cover everyone here. got a good mix. So we'll start in a couple minutes. Thank you so much, you guys, for joining us. And as I was saying about 10 minutes ago, fingers crossed the internet holds up, the web platform holds up. I've never actually done a webinar before, so this is a first for me, and we have a lot of people on the line. So really hoping that we can bring you some value and some distraction for an hour and some networking, and really just, you know, give our brains a break from everything else that's happening out there. Hello, Jess from Texas. So I have to highlight Jessica. So Jessica's just joined the chat. Jessica is from the Texas Recreation and Park Society, and they have partnered with us to provide CEUs for these webinars. So that does not include the webinar today because it is not a direct delivery webinar. This is more of a discussion and a panel, but you can get CEUs for the other webinars if you are interested. So TRAPS, Texas Recreation and Park Society, can provide those CEUs. If you are a member, they will be providing, up to 5 free. And if you're not a member, you can join and become a member. They do have a first-time membership that's quite affordable, or you can pay a fee per webinar to get credits to take them to your organization. So yes, Jessica's put her email in the chat, and they do have a part of their website set up with all of that information. So if you need CEUs and you're in the United States, you can look to TRAPS. They will be able to provide you with some CEUs. Hello, Tillsonburg, Ontario. Perfect. Owen Sound. I've never actually been up to Owen Sound. I grew up in Ottawa. I went to the University of Toronto, but I haven't been to Owen Sound. So we've got Tillsonburg. I've got some other people typing. Cold Lake. Hi, Katrina. Up in Cold Lake. We've got Waterloo, Wilfrid Laurier. Brampton. Hello, Natalie. Definitely been to Brampton. Brampton's in the Greater Toronto Area. Fredericton, New Brunswick. Hello, New Brunswick. Slow, San Luis Obispo. We've got a couple from San Luis Obispo. I have an old graduate student friend who lives in Slow. Toledo, Ohio. Kelly. Hello, you. Kelly's here. Kelly Martinez, if you don't know, from the city of Phoenix. She'll be presenting in a couple weeks. Fabulous resources on how to make your in-service more engaging. Things such as fake vomit, fake foam, preparing your guards for realistic rescues. So if you're not familiar with Kelly, be excited. Hi, Kimiko, Delta, BC. We've got Clarington, Ontario, El Campo, Texas. Lots of people know Kelly, so lots of excitement there. Sunshine Coast in BC. I hope you have some sunshine. It was -20 here near Calgary last week, and that, I think, is what really broke people. Not just being in their house, but the -20 was not good. Similar, I'm sure you have those temperatures in Wisconsin. So Greenfield, Wisconsin, Regina, Saskatchewan, I don't know, Shelby, if we've met, but I was just in Regina recently. So we've got all the Canadian provinces covered at this point. And we're ticking up there. We've got 80 people so far, and I'm expecting 160, but we won't wait. We'll get started shortly after 11 my time, 1 o'clock East Coast. So thanks for being here with us. If you've just come in the room, let us know where you're from. As we go through the session, we're going to do some polls. We're going to do a Q&A. We're going to let you guys share, join in, and fingers crossed, hopefully we don't lose the internet. So here's to hoping that my internet platform is stable enough. Northern Virginia. Perfect. The World Aquatic Health Conference was in Virginia last year. Got a few people typing. Allentown, Pennsylvania. Good representation from Allentown. Why don't you also, you can add to the chat box your organization. So if you're with a YMCA or a university, that's also helpful for us to know whether you're at a public swim, like a swim school, public pool, any information like that. Yes, Kentucky, I did see you shared this information. Minnesota, Baylor. I was super interested in going to Baylor 20 years ago. They have a theater makeup program. Didn't end up going. Delta Municipal Recreation. Sierra from BC. Public pools. We've got some universities. We've got some military facilities. City of Brampton. Public pool, public municipalities. Metro Atlanta. California State, Sacramento, Dovercourt. Yes, hi, Katie. Thank you for the prompt. I knew I recognized your name, but I couldn't identify. Dovercourt, yes. Lots of municipality, indoor high school facilities. That's cool. Hi, Rishona. So we've got Rishona on the webinar as well. You guys, Rishona is from Aqua Essence Swim Academy in Winnipeg, Manitoba, which is in Canada. She has had her own private affiliate out of public facilities, renting pool space for over 20 years. So she's going to be delivering our session next week on how to program on the fly. So those of us that are always accustomed to having our pool schedule set and we can bump whomever we want, Rishona's on the flip side of that. She's always having to adjust her programming and her scheduling around the times that by the city in terms of rentals. So she's going to teach us how to program on the fly. We've got PEI here. So we have every province now. Officially, we have PEI, LA, Private Community Association. Tyler, this is going to be a new mix for you. This is Tyler from the Pool Chasers podcast, which is a very well-known podcast for pool operators, pool service guys. And so this is going to be a bit new for you, Tyler. This is more kind of the lifeguard, public pool programming side of things. So welcome to the dark side. This is the better side, but we'll share it with you. Okay, so I think we're going to get started, if that's okay with you guys. We'll let everyone, we're not kicking anyone out. We'll let everyone join as they get here. So I'll give a brief introduction and then we're going to pass it over to some of our other speakers. Just want to quickly check if we have, I don't know if we have, I don't think we have Leslie. That's okay. So welcome everyone. My name is Katie Crysdale. I'm from Lakeview Aquatic Consultants. So what that means is I'm just a private enterprise. My background, I was in aquatics for 18 years, lifeguard, trainer, facility manager, all that jazz. And so to make a very long story short, last week, we had a state of emergency declared in the province of Alberta, and I realized very quickly that this was going to be really dramatic for our industry, and I wanted to bring people together and make lemonade out of lemons, or as Joey said this morning on his live, let's thrive together, not just survive, and take this time to really connect and build each other up, build our staff up, build our facilities up, and be prepared for what we're going to do on the back end of this. So I'm just hoping this morning we can share how we're feeling, how we're doing. We're going to start with our panelists. So we've got Kim Maurice here from the town of Hawkesbury in Ontario. Wave. Hi, Kim. So she's going to be talking to us about what the situation is like for her and her facility near Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, and in Quebec. And then we've got Katie Cleasby. She is from Virginia, Loudoun County. She's going to talk a little bit about what's happening down in there. And then we're going to open it up to you guys. So you'll be able to raise your hand. There is a feature in the chat box where you'll be able to raise your hand, and we will go around whoever's interested in sharing what aquatics looks like in their area, and really just kind of see where we're at this morning. So you guys know the session is scheduled for 1 hour. So my presenters, my panelists have committed for 1 hour, but I have nothing planned after this. So if we're here for 2 hours or 2.5, I can stay. Nobody is expected to stay, but I just want to let you guys know that this is something I have a passion and a heart for. So if you have time, we'll be here together for however long that takes. Sound good? And if at some point you can't hear our panelists or, oh, we have Leslie. Hello. Can we hear Leslie? We should test out Leslie. Try again.
Can you hear me?
Yay, we've got Leslie. Okay, so maybe what we'll do, we'll start with Kim. Leslie, I just did an introduction, and then we'll end with you if that's okay for just kind of updates how you're doing. Sound good?
Sounds good, thanks.
Okay, so I'm going to mute me for now. Let's pass it over to Kim and give us an update on how things are in aquatics for you in Hawkesbury, Ontario.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's really, really exciting to be here. And thank you, Katie, for allowing us to share all together what's going on across the country and in the States, because I think we're all kind of going through the same thing. So what's happening right now in Hawkesbury is that as per the health unit, they've closed down all public facilities, including gyms and schools. Anything where people can congregate, so the libraries, everything's closed down. For the town of Hawkesbury, the administration has put the admins on a work from home with a rotation into the office as needed. and everyone's on a big kind of disinfecting and cleaning and trying to organize everything so when people come back. We also have daily reports on Facebook and telling everyone what's going on and, you know, updates. So for our staff, they've all as well been laid off. So we're waiting until the Ontario Health Unit will get back to us around April 5th to see what the next phase of everything is going to be happening. So that's kind of what's going on here. So, you know, we're making the best of it, and I'm doing a lot of lesson planning.
I was going to say that's how's the mood in your town, would you say generally?
Well, I don't live in the town, so I live about an hour away. So I know with like our group of administrators, it's just a wait and see kind of game. You know, we're trying to be positive and try and be as productive as possible with the constraints put on us. You know, we're having to manage net meetings as well and phone conversations because the municipality doesn't want us all congregating like 6 or 7 people in an office. So that being said, you know, my boss has been really proactive in getting net meetings set up and making sure everyone can communicate on a different platform than what we're used to. So far for us, you know, I just got a big box of work here, and it's kind of time to go through all those things that, you know, everybody never has time to pick up and do. So yeah, so it's kind of like that kind of thing. So I'm around, and I might be going into the office tomorrow, but very briefly. So, and we'll see what happens in the next coming weeks, because right now in Quebec, they've closed down all the schools until the 1st of May. So usually when Quebec will do something like that, Ontario will match it. So it could be that we're in this for a longer time than just a month or a couple of weeks. So we'll see what happens at that point.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Let's hear now from Cleasby's in Loudoun County, Virginia. Just to troubleshoot, some of you, if you're not hearing audio, you could also try our Facebook page. I haven't looked, but the event is supposed to be streaming live on our Facebook page. So if you're logging out, you could also go there and see if it works. Okay, Katie.
Hello, can everybody hear me? Okay, so hi everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Katie Cleasby, and I'm the Aquatics Coordinator at Clodmore Recreation and Community Center in Sterling, Virginia. We have a 50-meter competition pool, a large leisure pool, and then a spa. And we're part of about 5 pools in Loudoun County, Virginia, Northern Virginia. So currently, as of last Monday, our pools had closed. Clodmore and just general pools in Loudoun County were one of the last pools to stay open, and they closed our pools right around midnight on Sunday night. At this point, the schools have also been closed. They originally had a date until April 1st, and now the schools are closed until April 10th as well. So they've also closed our parks. And there's just a lot of uncertainty right now. So we are all home and told to not work on closure pay. And there haven't been any layoffs. They're still deciding as far as answering questions. There's a lot up in the air as far as asking questions. You know, what does our refund policy look like? When we do open up on April 1st, what does that look like as far as limited staff? Are we paying part-time employees? And so there's just a lot of questions up in the air right now. I received a call from my facility manager today, just checking in, which was nice, but still a lot of unanswered questions. So as far as our facility, we have a rotating schedule, so no one is allowed in our building except for Aquatics. So we are the only ones, special privileges, of course, to check on the pool. So we've got all the CPOs and AFOs on a rotating schedule where we're heading in just to, you know, change out CO2 tanks and take readings and so forth and fill the pools. So other than that, I mean, we've drained our spa, but as of right now, we're just maintaining where we're at and just waiting for direction above, you know, me is as far as right now, we're set to open April 1st, but definitely utilizing this time. I'm working on my doctorate, so I'm very excited to just be a grad student and work on my thesis for the first time ever to just be a student. So, so other than that, we're looking for the silver lining. And oh, the other thing we've done too is we put out a little contest. I think somebody else posted this on Facebook where I threw in a gift card for Uber Eats for my lifeguards using GroupMe, and they're taking a photo challenge. So they have to take a photo of themselves, you know, lifeguarding in the tub, or obviously appropriate. So that's kind of, we're keeping tabs on keeping a positive atmosphere in our GroupMe text with our lifeguards as well. So other than that, we're hanging in there.
Just so I understand correctly, your facility or the local government has committed to opening on April 1st. Like, who's driving that timeline?
Our local government, yeah, PRCS, Parks and Recs Community Services, is part of the greater local government for Loudoun County, Virginia. So as of right now, you know, that's the most current information I have. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I hear you. That's tough to have a deadline that's so soon, and then everybody's experienced this, right? To push it back and then push it back and then push it back. We've all been there. So I just wanted to clarify. All right, thank you, Katie. Let's hear from Leslie. So Leslie White is joining us from St. John's, Newfoundland, which is a province at the eastern tip of Canada. It's an island off the east coast of Canada. So we actually in Canada have the furthest easternmost tip of North America. Most Americans don't realize this. So hello, Leslie.
Hi, thanks for having me, Katie. Yeah, so half of our province is actually an island. The other half is Labrador, which is up north and attached to Quebec. So we have a lot of space and quite a number of facilities. I work for the city of St. John's, and we have 2 indoor facilities that we are closed. One of them was about to go into maintenance for April anyway, so that pool has actually been drained. And the other facility is a 6-lane, 25-meter with another leisure pool and some water slides. That one is closed as well, but we are maintaining the water. We've dropped our temperatures, and we, not the lifeguards, but we have extra mechanical staff that do go in and check the pool once a day, just to make sure everything's okay. And so far, so good. Between our sites, we've got about 90 staff that are unionized. The city of St. John's is committed to paying them until April the 4th, and then they're going to reassess and see kind of where that takes us from there. So there's been no decisions in terms of layoffs or anything yet. I guess we'll just have to see how it goes like everybody else. Our administration team is doing really well, though. We are going into the office at the bare minimum. I popped in for 5 minutes today just to grab the last bit of mail that was in there. There's a couple of contractors that are working in our building, but I believe that they're going to clue up within a day or two as well. There's only 2 people, so they're maintaining their distance as well. And we're all set up. We have VPN, and most city employees are working from home when they can, if they need to. So yeah, like the other lady said, it's a great time to work on some projects, which we are busy getting prepared for, hopefully our summer program to continue. And other than that, most facilities have followed suit. Our schools are all closed, the same as the majority of the country. All of our spas and anything like that, gyms, are all closed as well. There's no date on the schools reopening yet at all. My 2 kids were scheduled to go in and pick up their stuff, and that all got canceled today, so they can't even go in and do that. But they're doing some at-home resources, just kind of like we are all trying to connect with everybody. But other than that, we're staying home and staying safe.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, Leslie. So I'll just give a short update on where I'm at. So I'm based near Calgary, Alberta, which is Western Canada. And we've had, most facilities have been closed since Monday of last week. So the 16th of March, which feels like a lifetime ago, but so the province indicated that all large community centers that would have congregation of 250 people or more should be closed. And so most facilities closed on Monday. And then my commercial clients, so I also work with hotels and condo buildings and swim schools, they were required to close as of Wednesday. So the province basically said no water amenities, bodies of water, hot tubs, pools could be open until further notice, because although the CDC has said that there is no evidence that the coronavirus can be transmitted through water. There is significant concern about fixtures, fittings, counters, doorknobs, contact, right? Kids being close together and playing. So that came down pretty hard last week. And so, and there have been a lot of layoffs in the province. So I heard of a YMCA south of me in Lethbridge. They laid off the entire staff last week, including the full-time administrative staff and aquatics director. And I know there's been a lot of uncertainty regarding casual positions. So your lifeguards that are working, part-time casual work. There's been a lot of stress and a lot of uncertainty. Certainly in a province where we have dynamic industry, we have a mix of oil as well as tourism. So really hoping in the next hour we can share kind of how we're doing, what you're going to be able to do if you'd like to chat. We'll get you to use there's a little hand next to type your message in the chat box. If you'd like to share, what I'll do is I'll give you the mic, but I'm not going to put on video because a lot of people don't want to do video. That's fine. And then if you have a question for our presenters, I'll just remind you. So my name is Katie Crysdale. We have Katie Cleasby in the pink. I swear we didn't mean to do this on purpose. We have Kim in the top, well, I guess top for me. I don't know about everybody's orientation. And then we have Leslie in the bottom. So if you want to engage with a specific person, you're welcome to. Otherwise, we'll just let you share, kind of tell us where you are, please, like city or state, anything that's pertinent that you want to share. So we're going to start with Willa Suter. One moment. Thinking. Hi, Willa. Can you hear us? Willa? I can't hear Willa. Can anybody hear Willa? So let's try that again. So those of you that put your hands up, maybe just check with your computer function. So I know for me, I had to make sure my mic was on, and then when I send you a hand up, like it'll turn your audio on. So is there anyone else? Oh, I'm just going to move my window down a little bit so I can make sure I can see. If anybody wants to share, stick your hands up. Otherwise, we can look at some of the questions. I know Katie was going to prepare some questions. We can answer some of those questions.
I think I should be audible now. This is Willa.
Oh, perfect. Hi, Willa. Welcome.
Thank you. I just wanted to say thank you all for putting this together and query some other agencies, anyone who might have exclusively a seasonal operation. We're about 5 weeks out from opening with my agency, and I was wondering if anybody else is considering pushing their opening date at this point, considering pushing a registration date. All of our classes are supposed to open for registration in a week, and they don't start until May, but are we shooting ourselves in the foot by moving registration? Are we shooting it by not moving it? Just what's everybody's take on that if you aren't open yet?
Yeah, I think that's an excellent question. Any thoughts? Anybody would like to respond to that? Anybody on our panel?
I can. It's Leslie.
Yeah, go ahead.
We are in the same boat. We open 2 seasonal pools, and they don't open till July here because we don't have much of a summer. But all of our registration happens next month. So that discussion has been ongoing. We're still in a kind of a predicament for even the current set of, did we miss enough swimming lessons that we need to credit or refund the whole set or part of it? Any of our leadership courses that it might have missed some time. I'm hoping that we'll see some of the organizations. We use the Canadian Red Cross for all of ours, that will give some extra options maybe to do some online learning that'll help the advanced leadership. But in terms of registration, we haven't pushed that date yet. I think we're going to watch and wait and see what happens, but it still remains to be seen. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough question because you don't want to have to keep bumping it and bumping it and bumping it. That ultimately ends up being more work, and you sometimes lose the public confidence in you when you do that. But it's hard to say. Right? Is there anyone else who has any thoughts they want to share by sticking their hand up, or another panelist that wants to add to that? All right, Paige, can you hear us? Paige, do you want to just call me on your cell phone and I'll play the call on speaker? You have my number. Anybody else in the interim who'd like to comment? Oh, wait, maybe. There we go. Sorry. I will put, since we're having some difficulties, I will put my phone number in the chat box. And then if somebody would prefer to call me, I can play their call on speaker. That might be easier for some of you if we're going to have these technical issues that I hadn't anticipated. It's a Canadian number, so just, oh, no, not 575. That is New Mexico. 832 5253. Paige, we're not hearing you. Can you give me a quick call and I'll put you on speaker? Or I will call you. Hi, Paige.
Hello.
Okay, can you mute yourself from that end because there's going to be echo. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I don't know.
Sorry, just talk in the phone. If you can mute, I will.
So, I was is that is our picture? Because right now, there is very stop. And start.
I don't know. Sorry, how well you could hear that. Willa, were you able to? Willa, are you still there?
I am here. There was a bad echo.
Okay. I'm sorry about that.
I'll write it in the chat.
Okay, so I guess we can get someone else and I'm trying to figure out what to look for. 1 second. Sorry, 1 sec. We practiced this. It didn't happen. Sorry, I'm just trying to get from Willa. One moment. Sorry, guys. Katie, if you have some of those, you want to try them?
Hi, Katie. Can you repeat that? I think you're muted. Willa's feedback is coming through, I think. Whoops.
All right, sorry about that. We're back. Where the feedback is, Will, I can't figure out how to disconnect you, unfortunately. Let's, we've given you all the answers to your questions, I had hoped. If we can grab, let's grab a new question from the chat and see if we can keep this going. I apologize for issues. Katie, do you want to grab one of the questions you've seen in the chat box and to talk about that for a little?
Sure. I've kind of been posting some different questions already. Folks have been talking a lot about what they've been doing online and prepping for summer. I haven't seen any questions yet. Does anybody have a specific question in the chat box that I missed? Lots of responses.
I can see one there, Katie, that is about what they're doing to keep, what anybody's doing to keep their staff engaged while they're off.
Yeah, I'd love to hear the ideas as far as we talk about, you know, Generation Z and Y, and these teenagers are so comfortable with online, you know, virtual learning anyways. So what is everyone doing to kind of keep the camaraderie and the positivity going? Oh, I have an echo too now. Katie, I don't think we can hear your audio.
There's a funny story for you guys. This is technical. So, Willa, I had to disconnect you. I figured out where the issue was there. Now I've zoned out, Katie, and forgotten what the question was. A specific question?
I think Leslie picked it up. She said, what are folks doing to help staff keep engaged? And it looks like there's some great responses here. Folks are relevant reading materials, leadership book clubs, swag bags, messenger groups, what they're doing to stay busy each day. These are great ideas. Oh, tracking, that's a great idea as well.
Oh, yeah, staff Instagram. Okay, so one of the with these, so all of the webinars will not be like the difficulties we're experiencing. People stream simultaneously. It's not going to be the case. Webinars are direct delivery, so there'll be one presenter with their presentation talking, and then there won't be anybody else on the audio. So hopefully that won't create the same issues that we're experiencing today. I do appreciate your patience, and and yeah, there's a really bad echo, and I'll mute myself for a bit and see if that resolves it. But what are some other things that you guys are worrying about in terms of aquatic specific, right? So outside of aquatics, we're worrying about if we have enough food for our families, activities for our kids. What do you think are some of the specific concerns that we face?
I can jump in there again if you like, Katie. I think everyone's hearing me okay. I'm on the customer advisory board with the Canadian Red Cross, and we were lucky enough to have a dial-in conversation a few days ago. And one of the biggest concerns was staff that have recertification sessions that are going to be affected. I know we offer sessions twice a year, and one of them is in April for all of the staff to be recertified. So we're hoping with, hopefully all the organizations, there'll be an opportunity for maybe extensions of awards or plans when you go back to work to be able to have a buffer of a few days to get everybody kind of up to date and retrained. We also discussed the opportunity to maybe change training a little bit so that we can put everybody's minds at ease. You're thinking about ways to stay safe in the classroom because of this new normal that we're all going to have. And of course, lifeguards are so hands-on that they're going to have some specific questions about what we can do as team leads to make sure that they're not experiencing any negative consequences going forward. So, everything from disease transmission to how to speak to your candidates from a leadership perspective, and then just making sure that they know that nothing bad is going to happen. In my team, our union contract states that if their awards expire, then they're actually terminated, which is, pretty hefty. So we needed to go back last week for sure and send them some information to make sure that they were confident that was not going to happen in this case. This is obviously out of their control, and that we would put some parameters in place. I do believe Red Cross is looking at that as well and are going to start sending out some information. That's the only organization I've spoken with so far, but hopefully we'll see kind of that issue be addressed across the country.
Yeah, I know in Alberta, Student Society has addressed it with a 3-month extension on awards that would expire, I believe it was March 1st. So it wasn't a blanket extension, but it does leave a lot of concern for the reasons that you raised too, Leslie, about, 3 months might help, but then comes reopening schools and our staff are not certified, and how quickly can we get people in board to be trained safely? Does anyone have any other perspectives? I want to try another hand up, see how it works, hope for the best. So it looks like LSS Ontario some awards. Katie, you heard anything for your area about award extensions, anything like that?
When you say award, what are you referring to?
Lifeguard certification, first aid certification. Like the certificate.
Oh, if their certs are passing the deadline. Honestly, everything's been really quiet here. I'm impressed with the decision making and everything that's gone forth with all these communities and the chats coming in. I wish we had more information.
Okay. So it looks like Life Saving Society Ontario has extended. I know in this case we have lots of provincial affiliates. So if you're in PEI, New Brunswick, Newfoundland, Ontario, Quebec, we have to get on our organization, send them emails, make sure they're aware that we need decisions in that regard. I know Greg mentioned your concern with EI. So in Canada, we call unemployment insurance, that's like the welfare or social assistance. How many of your facilities, those of you in the chat, have had to lay off staff or are looking at layoffs? New Brunswick, 90-day extension. Quebec has some extensions. So layoffs, I think, are very concern. 500,000 people have applied for last week, right? 1 million people, 60.
In Newfoundland, we haven't made that decision yet for our facilities anyway, but we have at least committed, like I said earlier, to paying them up to and including April the 4th, which gives them a little bit more time, and hopefully the backlog of people that are applying won't be quite so bad. But in terms of our permanent staff, we have permanent part-time, permanent full-time, and then our administration team, there's been no discussion about that yet, but we'll see what happens. I think the issue that everybody's got, of course, is that we just don't know how long this is going to last. So are you in a position where it's easier to kind of go week by week, or is it easier for you to just make a decision now and then deal with bringing everybody back on after the fact? That's not an easy decision to make by any stretch. So
Well, and I think the hardest thing people don't know, right, is it, so Alberta has decided that schools are closed until further notice. So there's no April 1st, there's no April 5th, there's no May 1st, there's just until further notice. And so it's hard to say, right, how that's going to improve. There was a discussion in a group I belong to about summer pools, right? Some instructors were worrying that their summer facilities might not open, and I think that's a bit premature in Canada. We have such a short season that opening for July is a long way off, but it's a question, right? So all of these things are questions, right? What about some of the commercial facilities? So we have a couple water parks in the group right now. Anybody have anything else that they've done in terms of redirecting staff? Is there anything that aquatic staff labor-wise, other than cleaning, that anybody's doing to use, has anybody thought about doing rewriting like safe work procedures or hazard assessments or lifeguard manuals? Is anybody working on a project like that this week with their staff? So not just the aquatic supervisor, but also the guards, let's say, or instructors.
We're not yet, but I've heard of some facilities. I think there's one in BC for sure that has looked at the Red Cross Psychological First Aid Program, and there's a Care for Self module on it. And they've also done some online professional development modules, and they're paying their staff in the meantime to be able to do those, which I think is fantastic. We haven't made any decision to do that yet, but anything that you're able to do to keep them with some extra hours sounds amazing.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Leslie. That is the session Christian will be doing on Wednesday. So Christian Clavel in Winnipeg, Manitoba. He's a psychological first aid instructor trainer for the Canadian Red Cross. So he'll be doing a self-empowerment workshop with some of the strategies from that program. So people will have the opportunity to get a taste of what that program is like. It's not a supplement, it's not a certification, but it is an introduction to strategies and tips that many people need right now. Here we are, whatever it is, Monday, March 23rd, 2020, and probably most of us didn't think we would be here, right? We're having a web chat with people we've never met before because our pools are closed, right? All bets are off, things are different. So I think that's a valuable tool, and I think that's something for people to consider is what online training, are there any online training resources you guys are familiar with you can share in the chat that have worked for you guys in the past, whether they're free or paid? Just looking to see. Policy and procedure guides, marketing strategies. Not asking staff to work because that it impacts EI. That's correct, right? I can see that. So bloodborne pathogens, is that the class through Pool and Hot Tub Alliance, Willa, that you're looking at? The bloodborne pathogens, I believe it's $29 or $39. Lifeguards love YouTube. So Kamiko is giving a shout out to Kelly Martinez. So her resources for training staff, and somebody already mentioned, Joey this morning mentioned Lifeguards Without Borders is also got great videos from Dr. Justin Sempersot. That's another option. Terry mentioned creating online content. So what kind of online content is that, Terry, if you can give us a couple more points? Kate likes Dr. Justin's presentations. They're free. Katrina's using LinkedIn for leadership courses. So think outside of aquatics too. I know when we've had shutdowns, I've taken the time to do, self-development. So whether it's online training for Excel or PowerPoint, whether some other ways that we can do that to build connection. So Terry, to create more of a connection in our community. So is that, can I put you on the spot, Terry? Can we try doing a raise hand again and maybe get some audio on your ideas? Sorry, now I can't scroll up again.
Katie, while you're doing that, I can just jump in. You mentioned Joey, and if people are online that are not part of the Lifeguard Authority group on Facebook, I think that's a great spot for you to start. I know Joey posted a couple of posts this morning, and he's got a list of maybe 5 or 6 at least online free training opportunities. And someone mentioned there that they're looking for a spot to share ideas and policy and stuff, and I think that's a great spot to start. And hopefully they can increase participation in that I invited a whole bunch of my staff this morning, so hopefully they'll all be on board soon.
Okay, we're going to try and see if we can get Terry. Terry, can you try talking for us? Maybe? If you're in full screen, try minimizing. You should have a little pop-up microphone from me that allows you to turn on your mic.
I think I gotcha. Do you guys hear me? Hold on.
I can hear. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So basically for part-timers, so I'm in California, Northern California, just outside of Sacramento and Elk Grove at Consumer Community Services District. Basically,
Sorry, I can't hear, but maybe it's just me.
I can hear. Yep.
Okay. I'm in let me go back to, let's see okay, there's a handful of people that can hear. So I'll go ahead and keep going.
If you can hear Terry, go ahead. I'll mute myself.
Okay, so I work in Northern California, and our district has been really committed to try to provide support and hours for our part-time staff. So last week was really just all of our divisions coming up with different things that we can do as recreational professionals and parks professionals to support our part-time staff and give them work. So right now, all of our facilities are actually closed. Full-timers are working from home, except for essential staff, because we also have fire department. But they are still moving forward on like park cleanup, cleaning facilities, those types of things with proper social distancing. So really, we've just been compiling lists of things to do. It's also including a whole online module, several people across the California state with California Park Society. So with them, we've seen a lot, we have a whole chat going, and we've seen a lot of people pop up online resources, whether it's via preschool or Kids Central, just tools that our community members can use. So we're working on some online content coming from our aquatic staff, because, you know, our staff ranges from 15 to, you know, probably 50 at this point. So we got a lot of brains in the kitchen. So we're allowing them to help create some content that our PR department is going to approve for distribution via social media and our website. So that's basically what I meant from online content. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at with stuff. I mean, we're still prepping. We canceled everything except for just postponing our certification classes. It's just so we can get back in and get going. So, I mean, we're still planning for summer season, and we just hope it comes sooner than later at this point, because this is honestly couldn't have happened at the worst possible time. And I'm pretty certain everybody agrees with me with that one. So yeah. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Terry. I think what we'll do, if there's anybody else that wants to try chatting, I'll authorize you, but then I think my internet is the lag. So Leslie, if you can hear them, then it's good. It's just my internet that's lagging. So if there's anyone else that will try sharing, if you want to stick your hand up by clicking the hand on the right side of the chat box, I'll authorize you, and then Leslie will prompt you if there's that she can hear you. Don't worry about me being able to hear. I know we've got a hole full of aquatics people that would be willing to otherwise start. Go ahead, Katie.
I was just going to mention the National Drowning Prevention Conference is completely online, and they are looking for presenters. They're opening up to everybody, and they're looking at adding more sessions. So if anybody has never always wanted to, you know, try being a presenter, this is a really great, you know, comfortable forum to do that, to start on your CV. So just another plug there as well.
Yeah, I'm so glad you mentioned that. The fee is $399. They've reduced it. It's all online. You have access to the recordings for 90 days. So I'm not necessarily advocating that you share the login amongst colleagues, but definitely if you have a budget, $400 can go a long way for a facility. And like you said, Katie, this is a great opportunity because many of us can't travel to that session otherwise. I also noticed a couple of people mentioned Aquatics Tribe. So Aquatics Tribe, Natalie Livingston and Ashley Wolf. The business name is Alive Solutions. They are hosting webinars on Thursdays during the COVID pandemic. So if you want to log in on Thursday this week at 10 a.m. Pacific, which is, I believe, 1 p.m. Eastern, if you create a login on their website, which is alive-solutions.com, I'll put that in the chat box. They're going to be hosting community on Thursdays, and then Natalie and Ashley will be presenting. They are known as Aquatics Tribe. They will be presenting, I believe, next week or the week after. I should know this. I have my document open. They will be presenting on Wednesday, April 1st. So again, the technical challenges we're having with trying to create a group discussion, we shouldn't see with direct delivery by 2 participants where I will be silent, they will have screen sharing on, and it'll just be audio. So definitely sign up to come to that session. They're very, very experienced. They have some amazing ideas to share with us about long-term in-service development. And so we can also pick their brain a little bit and see what they're seeing as they work with people across the country. Oh, thank you, Terry. Yeah, so alivesolutions.com, that is Aquatics Tribe.
Oh, sorry, Katie, one more thing. We, if you are in Canada and have your water safety instructors, just a reminder that there are a whole bunch of professional development modules online. So you just need to log onto your account and get onto Boulevard, and you should be able to access all kinds of stuff. There's at least 7 to 10 last time I checked, videos and logins that you can have your staff review. They can send you a certificate when they're done as well if you wanted to pay them, so you know that it's completed.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Red Cross, the PD webinars, right, or modules, right? So teaching parented classes, teaching adults. Also seeing in the chat box, so when is the Drowning Prevention Conference? It's the first week of April. I believe it's April 5 to 9. You can go to ndpa.org and they have the information for their conference, as well as I noticed Dominique from formerly the UFC mentioned concussion. So that's available for information about concussions and brain injuries and how that can happen in different sports that we don't always associate with brain injuries and concussions. So lots of good resources. So we've talked a little.
I had a question. Oops,
yeah,
sorry.
please. Yeah.
I was just going to put another question out to the forum as far as like dryland workouts for your swim teams. Like how are your swim team runs doing? I know I'm a triathlete as well, and my couple of my swim coaches have sent great workouts, and they've moved their businesses online and are looking like, what is everyone doing as far as you know, the actual swimming component of our positions?
I was wondering that too. I don't have a swim coach background. It's got to be a real challenge.
Looks like some folks are typing. Oh, they've got the conference on there. Nothing yet. Okay. Maybe teams are connected online with daily challenges. Yeah. I know my triathlon coach sent me, in place of all my swim workouts, dryland workouts. So I didn't know if school leadership webinars. Okay. Yeah.
So the question, just to restate, Kate, she was asking about what kind of fitness regimens can be provided to either swimmers or triathletes or even lifeguards, right? What can our lifeguards be doing to stay fit? You know, yes, social distancing. Can they go for walks? Can they go for runs? Are they doing, you know, Zumba in their living room? What does that look like in terms of developing or maintaining the fitness level for these athletes? I know a ballet dancer who's 6'3", and he's putting on his winter coat and basically doing plies on his deck because he's too tall for his living room to do plies and jumps, right? Like it's just making it work. So what other ideas do you guys have for, I guess, fitness or training, as Katie mentioned?
We've been searching Facebook lately at home too. My husband is actually a personal trainer, and he's been training some of his clients remotely. So I'll hear him downstairs on FaceTime. So he's got some regular clients that 2 or 3 times a week are calling in, and they might have their own home equipment. So he's just taking them through a workout. But then there's lots of there's a local Pilates studio that's posting a workout every day. There's a push-up challenge going around. There's a whole bunch of different ones depending on what social media platform you're on. So I think that if you just search it in Facebook or even just search it in online, you should be able to come up with a number that are all being offered for free.
In that vein, is anyone meetings with their staff, like their casual staff, so not the admin team, not the management team? Is anybody doing something like this, or video meetings, FaceTime, Instagram Live, IGTV with their regular guards, right? Their high school students who maybe are experiencing stress right now, don't know what's going on. Maybe they're going to miss graduation. Maybe they're going to miss half a school year. So Zoom. Paige, you're meeting with your staff at the swim school. Okay. Videos of CPR. So once a week check-ins. Okay. Workout challenges. So that there's a lot you could do with that. I think you could create, competitions. Got a few people typing.
I also had another question as well. How are, for aquatic directors and management and just leaders in general, how are you doing as far as, answering questions to your community and the parents and the lifeguards? And as I'm talking, my instructors are reaching out to me, those who rely on that pay to pay their bills. Like, any updates? Like, how are you doing, like, physically, emotionally, socially, as dealing with all this and your leadership styles? Do you have any tips or tricks or tools in your tool chest, or have you been given specific instructions on phraseology from upper management? Or
yeah, I just put in the chat box trying to get someone else. I know we have a lot of leaders on this call, and nobody wants to try the internet again with the voice. I know it hasn't been very good, but if somebody would like to try and share, I'll let Leslie tell us when she can hear you, because I'm assuming it's mine that's not so good. Katrina says keeping active.
I was gonna say, I know personally, I'm really thankful for this type of platform, because now I'm gonna go back and as soon as we get off the call, send an email to my senior leadership team and hopefully reach out to our staff group. Zoom meeting seems to be a great option. My daughter is a member of a local choir, and they had all 70 kids singing one of them happy birthday the other day online, and it was amazing to see. So for anybody that has big teams, Zoom or another platform is a great opportunity to be able to connect with them. So I know I'm definitely going to go back and take some of these ideas, because I think they're fantastic.
I'm just looking in the chat box. So Jennifer was saying she's really concerned about the layoffs. I think it's unavoidable to some extent. Layoffs are hard, and we really care for our staff in aquatics. We know their families, we know their life circumstances, so it makes it extra hard because we're caring people. And I think the only thing to keep in mind is, we feel so much personal responsibility, and this is outside of our control. And that doesn't make it any better. We still have to do it. Our management still does it. But just really having those conversations and reiterating those staff, how great they are as guards, as instructors, and really connecting their personal value to you and your facility is separate from the economic circumstances that are leading to this, right? So we used to call them warm fuzzies at summer camp, but really writing, construction paper, markers, thank you notes, whatever that looks like, because you can be a leader and leave that lasting impact. It's going to sting that they lose their job, but you can still make them remember to feel good about themselves, and they'll remember that feeling hopefully more than they remember the layoff, right? And still connect with them, right? We've seen some connection, like the Zoom meetings, maybe a Facebook group, maybe a newsletter list or something like that, just really connecting with them. Seeing the self-care plan from the Red Cross. So Christian will be talking about the self-care plan and some tips and strategies as well. Yes, so Kate, oh, that's me. So Kate is mentioning that the Zoom is threatening that of the huge uptick in usage. they may lose video capabilities. So I can probably speak to that. So I looked at using Zoom for this platform, and they cap out at 250 people for, I believe it was $200. And so I paid twice that for this platform, which can do up to 1,000 people. But even you guys can see the quality. I've paid quite a bit of money, and we can't count on the quality, right? So just be aware before you jump on any money that way that, I mean, all bets are off in this economic circumstance. Everybody is trying to meet. Look at other apps like Telegram, look at different apps that, you know, just you might want to have some options available. Google Hangout's been really, really positive. Somebody's doing interviews. Kate, you're doing interviews via Google Hangout. How has that been? Can you share with us? I feel like through Instagram, I got to make you share because you've been, we know each other through Instagram. Microsoft.
Kate, sorry, I have another question about that. We're about to consider our summer interviews as well. And I don't know about you guys, but we do a pool test as part of our summer training interviews. So without having access to that, is anybody making any modifications? Are they just going to do dry land interviews and doing them on the phone? How does that go? I think that's a really interesting conversation to have.
Yeah, I can speak to the physical skills. So that I know is different across Canada and probably in the United States too. When I moved to Alberta, doing what we call a wet screen, a physical assessment of the mandatory lifeguard skills, was considered very unusual. I was considered very strange for doing that. We implemented that, and we did have one time when our pool was closed for shutdown. So HR wrote it into the contract that we did the interview, we onboarded them and said, you know, this contract is null and void if during the first week of reopening you are unable to perform the fitness standards that have been identified in the job description, then this contract is null and void. So we did build that in, but we had to have buy-in from HR first, that it was a workplace requirement, bona fide workplace requirement like firefighting, that we would build in the aptitude to pass that test. So I think it depends if you're doing wet screens or not already. I certainly wouldn't try and implement them now. Okay, so it sounds like if you'd, so Kate is just saying if you're comfortable with what you can perceive, I guess, through digital connections, that it might work. Probably we can have a sidebar conversation about that, or try and put together a post discussion about resources. So somebody's looking to do the swim test and the brick while the pool is still closed, like you would make sure the sanitation levels are okay to do the assessment. Is that what I'm understanding? Okay, so Ontario just announced all non-essential businesses will have to close by midnight on Tuesday. Okay, so that's a change for Ontario. Anybody else doing phone interviews or will be attempting to do phone interviews for the summer? And again, if anybody would like to try and speak, you can put your hand up on the side of the chat box and we can try and see if we can get you up. Okay, so Kate says initially she's nervous about doing online or phone interviews, but teenagers are adapting. Okay, hiring freeze in some places. Maybe closing the border, Kim's saying, between Ontario and Quebec for nothing other than emergency travel. Paige is saying that they do their spring interviews. We do group interviews and then do group Skype. So that could be interesting. Okay. Starting phone interviews, Willa said the week of March 16th, mostly FaceTime or conference call. Okay, so returning people, that could make it a little bit easier. I would probably be a fan of a traditional phone call for some of these interviews, right, based on technology. Hiring freeze, Colin says. Katie, they're asking for your workouts. I don't think you can send them in here, but we can send them as an attachment. What we can do is we can upload them somewhere and create a link for people who want them. Let me write that down. Ooh.
Sure, absolutely. I think that's a great way to connect. So Katie, is there like, do you have on your website for Lakeview a way to just share a whole bunch of resources for this time? Like we can just go through the chat later and compile everything in just one main, or maybe there is already, I don't know.
Yeah, so what we can do, a couple of different options. So the way I recorded this webinar is it does include the chat box, and then I do have a download. So hopefully I'll be able to upload it to YouTube without any further hiccups. And we're still on the fence whether we'll keep the chat box in future recordings, but like it's going to be pulled. So I can absolutely go through and we can collate everything and put it either I think, like you said, on a website with live links is going to be more helpful than a PDF that people then have to recopy. So I can certainly work on that today. And so if you have any documents that you want to send me or any resources, I'll stick my email in here. And anything that you guys can share will be reshared back. And then what I can do is I will send I will have access to all the registrants from this webinar. And so I will BCC everyone on a group email. So BCC, you won't see everyone's information once that page is live, and then you can grab that information and we can add comments to it as well. So anybody who wants to add extra resources, I will go back to, you guys mentioned Lifeguard Authority. Joey's also trying to collate resources there. So we're not the be all and the end all, but we're just trying to at least, bring some things together. So any other questions that you want briefly addressed? I think there's definitely people dropping off. They have lunch or they have kids to take care of. Anything else that we can either briefly, quickly kind of mention that would be helpful to you guys? I'm so appreciative of those of you that have been here so far. Okay, we'll get a couple people typing. We'll just see what that is. If you're not already registered for Wednesday, so Wednesday will be Christian Clavel from Winnipeg, Manitoba. He is Canadian First Aid Training. He is a Canadian Red Cross psychological first aid instructor trainer. He'll be doing a mini session on strategies, self-empowerment, self-care during times of crisis. So definitely check that out. Look for some tips and strategies you can use in your household, use with your staff. Not a substitute for a formal class or online learning, but just kind of giving people tips and strategies. And again, the format will be him direct delivering through screen share with PowerPoint. So hopefully, and I will do some digging into the webinar to see what kind of tech issues we had on this one. So I do apologize for that. We'll get all the resources together as best as we can. I'll send that out via email. If you have any other questions, I'll stay on for a few more minutes and I'm available. You can also shoot me an email. I'm just looking, moving forward. Okay, so moving forward in Newfoundland and first aid training, or sorry, NL being lifeguarding, not Newfoundland, and first aid training with new safety and distance concerns. Yes. Thanks for having us. Multitasking ninjas, I don't know. We tried. Okay, thanks everyone. I think we'll close it out for there. As I said, if you'd like to join us on Wednesday, you can pre-register. I don't know if this did stream on Facebook. It was supposed to. Hopefully it did. If not, we'll get this up on YouTube. Thank you for your patience with our tech issues. Thank you to Katie Cleasby in Loudoun County, Virginia, Leslie White in St. John's, Newfoundland, Kim Maurice, who silently still here, Hawkesbury, Ontario. If you need anything, please don't hesitate to reach out to me or any of your colleagues, right? You're not in this alone. I'll be here for a few more minutes, but thank you so much. And hopefully we'll see you on other sessions this week. Thank you. Thanks, Danielle, Brooke, everybody, Nicole, Vicky. Thank you. If you have any questions, I'll hang out and see what you're typing. Thanks, Katie. Thank you. Okay. So what time is it currently in Pacific? I think there's been some confusion with time zones, Nicole. So what time is it? I'll get the recording up. So Pacific right now, because it is 12 o'clock for me. Okay, so it's 12 for me in Mountain Standard, which is Calgary. And then Nicole, for you in Pacific, it's 11. So the time was wrong. Okay, so I need to update the time to reflect that it's occurring at 11 Pacific, right? 11 Pacific. Okay, thank you for that. I'm so sorry, Nicole. I will put a note and see how I can update to get that taken care of for Pacific. Oh, it's 10 in Pacific now? Oh, okay, that would be why. 10 a.m. Pacific. Okay, so we need 10 Pacific. No, it will have to be at 10. Okay, yeah, 10 a.m. Pacific, which is 11 a.m. Mountain Standard. Okay, thank you. 10 a.m. till 11. Okay, hopefully I've got that. Thank you. I'm sorry that you missed it. Although the good news is you missed, we had a tech issue in the middle and it wasn't as great. Came up as the time zone, but gave an option to convert. Okay, perfect. So I was hoping it would allow you to convert for your region, but there was some issues with Arizona and Pacific from some of the people I heard from, and I thought we'd addressed it, but definitely not. Okay. Yeah, as long as you can get it to customize. Oh, Kim. Yeah, well, I mean, and think of what would have happened if we hadn't tried yesterday, right? It would have been interesting. On Lakeview's website is correct. Okay. Aqua Awesome, you should trademark that. We're going to need it. I'll need to get one of those t-shirts. I've been wearing that lifeguard t-shirt you gave me. I do use it at the gym. All right, thanks everyone who was here. Thanks for your patience. Sorry, the couple of people that we cut off, so Willa, and we lost, and then the people we didn't hear from. So thanks everyone. I see a couple other names that I recognize, so sorry we didn't get to you. Thank you, Jessica, for everything. And I see a couple other names. Anybody needs anything, you are welcome to email me or send me a message, and I hope to catch you later this week, Wednesday with Christian.